And hello there, everyone. I'm Scott Welsh, and every Thursday we get together to talk about how to beat the market. And this week we're going to talk about trading on all time frames. Does it matter? What's the deal with trading on all time frames? Let's get right to it. First of all, why are we obsessed with trading systems that work on all time frames? Um, why is that a big deal? Is it a big deal? Is it a fair claim to make? Well, we're going to talk about all that today. Does anything work on all time frames? By the way, we're going to discuss that. And does it even matter? I mean, we talk about it and people ask questions about it, but does it really even matter? All right. Here's a shot of me. This was me. I was a little bit angry. As you can see, I'm pulling on a potential grenade there. It was a bad day at work, but there's a picture of me. If you want to know what I look like, there I am. I'm unique looking. There's no doubt about it, but that's me, and you have to deal with it. All right. The magical marketing claim. We've all heard it. I've heard it. I still hear it, and that is, oh yes, my system works on all time frames. I mean, this is the big phrase. This is the closer, right? If you're listening to any sort of presentation, chances are you're going to hear, does it work on all time frames? And then the presenter will say, of course it works on all time frames. Don't believe me? Well, last weekend I spent about 5 hours watching presenters that I'd never seen before. These are people who are brand new to me, but experts in the field. And in every single presentation at the end, the question came in, yes, but does it work on all time frames? And the presenter said it just the way I said it. Oh, absolutely it does. All time frames. Wonderful. I mean, that's it. It's like everyone nods their head in agreement, and we all go on like, well, okay, all right, that's great. I mean, if it works on all time frames, I've got a winner. But hold on, let's just hold on a second. First of all, why do we care? Why do we ask this question of presenters, of experts? Why is it we hear a presentation, we look at the system, we can evaluate the system, and then we look at the numbers, maybe if they show them, the hypothetical numbers or whatever. Why then do we immediately go to, yeah, but does it work on all time frames? I mean, is that weird? Like if someone told you that your new car that you need to drive to work or you need to drive your family around, right? You're driving 10 miles here and 10 miles back, maybe to the mall or maybe to the grocery store, right? That's what you need your car for. And that's why you bought it. Then somebody goes, whoa, does it work for road racers in Bangladesh? Or do international CEOs drive on mountains? And who cares, right? Why does that make your car better if you will never, ever drive on mountain passes or off road racing or anything, right? What's the point? Furthermore, if our job is to trade on a daily chart because our real life job makes us trade on the daily chart, right? We can't watch a 5 minute chart because of our life. So we have to use a daily chart. Why do I care if this very same system that I have to trade on a daily chart, why do I care if it works on the 5 minute chart? Seriously. But why does that matter? Again, why is that a question? We are only trading the daily charts in this example, or vice versa. If you love day trading and you're on a 5 minute chart, you're taking 10 trades a day, why do you care if it works on the daily, right? Every other time frame that's not the one you're going to use, does it matter, right? Why is this the big closer? Why is this the big selling point? Why is this the final question of a webinar from the people at large? And why is it so great if the presenter says, absolutely, seriously? And is it even true when they say it works on all time frames? Well, no, is my short answer. No, it doesn't work on all time frames. Now, we get into the definition of what does work mean. But no. Now, I say no, and maybe you can email me and say, well, my system works on all time frames, and that would be Actually, I would love to hear that. I love hearing from people who do well in the markets with their system or who have any sort of contradictory evidence. What I'm telling you is I've seen exactly zero evidence. I've been testing robots maniacally since 2012. Let's see, one, two, three, four. That's a few years, right? And I have literally never seen a system. For example, I love the 15-minute time frame. If I'm testing a chart on the 15 and I get it exactly where I want to be, where I think it's going to be consistent in all markets, right? And then I take it up to a different time frame, it never works the same. It's hardly ever even close, right? It's just not transferable to other time frames, and I've never seen it. I used this example in the Wednesday newsletter yesterday, but think about it. If you're on a 15-minute chart, right? Or let's reverse it. If you're on a daily chart, daily charts, daily bars are huge. On a Forex, hundreds of pips. On stocks, several cents, right? Dollars even, okay? What your profit target is going to be huge, right? They're going to be very wide targets because it's a big bar. Even if you just trade for one bar at a time, that's a huge target. So let's say it's 100 points, and that's very reachable on a daily chart over 1, 2, 3, 4 days. Okay. Now, take that system and say, hey, it works on all time frames, and then take it exactly and plug it into a 15-minute or a 5-minute chart. No freaking way will that work. You can't go for 100 pip target on a 15-minute chart and expect anything close. There's more noise, more signals will fire off. It's a totally different thing. Furthermore, a signal is going to be different on the 15-minute chart, like I said, but there's no guarantee, not that there's any anyway, but there's no guarantee it's going to get to the same spot as the daily chart's going to get. It's too far to ask on a 5, 10, 15-minute chart to go 100 pips on a single signal consistently. Of course it can once or twice. See what I'm saying? If you have a number on your trading system, there's no way it will work the same in other time frames. Impossible. But let's say you don't have numerical targets and stops, you just have a methodology. This methodology has worked for centuries. It makes sense. And we're just going to transfer it up and down the time frames because surely common sense and time tested methodologies will work on anything, right? Wrong. Okay. We talked about the golden cross, which is a moving average trend following system that's been around for a long time. I have tested it myself, right? And on a daily chart on Visa, on V, the golden cross, do the testing yourself. In the last 10 years or so, I think it was 11 years, you can go back to the newsletter, um, it produced on a daily chart $20,000, right? Not bad, right? Beat the market, that's great. But then when I took that exact system, the exact same rules, and put it down to a 5-minute chart, a $20,000 profit turned into a loss of 9,800. You see what I'm saying? Same system, same rules, same methodology. Daily chart 20,000, 5-minute chart minus 98, right? Sure, it works on all time frames. No, it doesn't. It absolutely doesn't. If something that simple and time tested, trend following based, cannot be transferred, then what can be transferred? Okay. But this is not necessarily a bad thing, and that's the point of our video today, right? The golden cross, as I just said, does not work on all time frames. Fine, right? Trend following simple doesn't work. Fine. So what does that mean? Seriously, what does that mean? Does that mean that all those profits we saw on the daily chart, just throw it out? Doesn't matter? Is it not tradable on the daily chart because the 5-minute chart is not profitable? Of course not. I mean, this doesn't even make sense. You can test the Golden Cross system on any stock pretty much. And most, if not everyone you test, will be profitable in some form. Isn't that good enough? I mean, isn't that a lot of data, right? The Golden Cross is excellent on V and Visa. And like I mentioned a couple weeks ago, at least 26 out of 30, unless my memory is off, that it was nicely profitable using the Golden Cross system. So, what does it matter if the Golden Cross, for example, doesn't work on other time frames? Again, it's pointless. It's a pointless conversation. It's a pointless question to ask. It's a pointless claim for anyone to make. It's just not relevant. And unless I see other data, it's not true. Yet people keep talking about it, right? But the bottom line is here's Apple on a daily chart. Here's the Golden Cross system. You see, 50 moving average is crossing above the 200. Look at this win. Look at that monstrous win over several months. Why do I want to change this win into a day trade on a 5-minute chart? It works on the daily. Why? See what I'm saying? Now, if you are obsessed with working on all time frames, here is what we really should be thinking about. If you want to switch time frames, if you like a methodology, if you switch time frames, here's the secret, modify that system. Each time frame will need slightly different rules. What absolutely does transfer is theories, hypotheses, methodologies. Those do transfer, but you don't use the exact same rules. In this regard, and not the exact replica, in this regard, things do work on all time frames. And that is a relevant conversation. But they're different. Every time frame has different rules. Okay. For example, this makes sense in our real life. We had to give a presentation to 10,000 people. Would it be the exact same presentation if we were only talking to 10? No. How you act, the points you make, the jokes you make. Would you spend time talking to someone in the crowd in a 10,000 seat arena? No. 10 people in the room, maybe you stop, you take a tangent. Same speech, same message delivered, 100% different delivery and different rules, right? We modify things for the situation. We take the idea and then modify it, right? Again, ideas can be transferred to all time frames, but not exact rules. Absolutely not. And here's the bottom line today. I've never seen anything that works in all time frames, okay? It's time for us to stop falling for that, like that is some sort of magical claim. But it's also time for us to stop asking that question. Just stop it. Let's not have that discussion anymore. It's pointless. Just spinning around in circles because it also doesn't matter. We need a time frame that works for us. We need a methodology that beats the market and makes us money. Doesn't matter what that methodology does in other time frames. It just matters if it works. But again, if you do want to change time frames for some reason, or you just want to say, I want to see if this idea is robust, then take that idea, modify it on each time frame, right? For example, what's an example of a modification? Well, daily chart, 100 pip stop or 100 point stop, 5-minute chart, 20 point stop. Okay, just little things like that. Same entry method, different target, different stop, and so on. In that regard, take a system that makes sense in your head, a system that you like the way it trades and you want to trade that way, but you want to modify the time frame, just tweak it. In that regard, the time frame talk is useful, but really only in that regard. Again, let's not claim it. Let's not ask for it. Let's not even talk about it. We're here to make money, and let's stick to relevant conversations so that we can make our trading accounts grow. All right, my courses are still on Kajabi Next. If you're interested in the Wednesday newsletter, go to scottwelsh.me, and there's my email if you have any comments, questions, concerns. Please email me. Love to hear from you. That's all for this week. Can't wait to see you next week. Bye for now.